Dear aspirants, Assalamu alaikum. We are going to discuss myths and facts about Pakistan Army. Pakistan's armed forces are the sixth largest army in the world, but its expenses per soldier are the lowest. The United States has the largest defense budget, followed by the China and Saudi Arabia. The Indian defense budget is $20 billion, but it was never made an issue in Indian politics. And in the case of Pakistan, the total budget is around $7 billion. In the budget of 2021, Defense Affairs and Services has been allocated rupees 1,289 billion out of total budgetary expenses of rupees 7,295 billion. What this means is that defense comprises 17.67% of total expenses and non-defense related. Some percentage of the budget allocated to the army is also utilized for the purpose of nation building through the construction of hospitals, schools, and the development of infrastructure in remote areas. The myth about the Pakistan Army that the army makes the foreign policy of the country and retains a dominant influence over the security policies of the country. The army is the one of the vital organs of the state but is subservient to the political government. The main objective of Pakistan's foreign policy is to protect its territorial integrity and national security from an external threat. India and Afghan are central concern of the country's foreign policy, and the main threat remains from India. The army did not dominate the foreign policy, which was run by the bureaucrats. It is only national security which necessitates the involvement of armed forces. Pakistan Army supplements the foreign policy office with its input in areas of interest only when asked by the foreign office. It is the civilian government which makes the foreign policy with strategic understanding with its armed forces. Our army is an effective institution in the country which remains within the boundaries of the role defined in the Constitution of Pakistan. The other myth is that the army is running a business empire and there is no accountability. Pakistan Army has remained the most well-managed, disciplined, and responsive institution of the country, which besides ensuring the defense of the country also helps the government in various fields. It has made positive contributions in remote area of the country. Gilgit-Baltistan, Fata, Chitral, and Balochistan through the construction of roads, education, facilities, medical facilities, and water supply schemes. The army plays an important role in nation building through its organizations like the Fauji Foundation, Army Welfare Trust, Frontier Works Organization, and the National Logistics Cell. The Army Welfare Trust guarantees funds for the welfare and rehabilitation of orphans and widows of Shuhada. The welfare projects also creates employment opportunities for retired and disabled armed forces personnel. The Fauji Fertilizer Company is one of the biggest taxpayer in Pakistan. Another myth that the general take up top civilian post. One is not commissioned into Pakistan Army as a general, but instead he has to pass through a process. Some of the general officers appointed on some posts have delivered according to the best of their abilities, and that is acknowledged by everyone. All the appointments in civil departments are done on a merit basis, as armed forces officials can manage civilian institutions effectively. There are anti-military media cells and social media brigades of political parties that systematically campaign against the army and its top brass. They upload misleading posts and the news to malign the army by using offensive language against military leadership, when all that is happening is that they are giving sacrifice for the nation on a day basis. Ridiculously, Pakistan Army and senior officers in the name of freedom of speech is not acceptable. Let us not forget that the situation in Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Iraq and Yemen, it is our army which is keeping this country together. Pakistan's army today is a professional and operationally responsive force, and its leadership at all levels is professional, competent and battle hardened. So we love our armed forces, and Pakistan armed forces are the main component of the Pakistan national security and integrity. Thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad, Pak Armed Forces Paindabad. Thank you.